Your resume is a living document. You've probably heard career people like me say that before, but what the heck does that even mean? Well, the main thing really is that it means that you want to be keeping your resume updated as much as you can for your entire working life. And I know that sounds like a lot. I don't mean that you have to get in there every week and update your resume or anything remotely like that. But I do mean that what you'll want to do is periodically hop into your resume and make sure that it's still a reflection of what you do. Here's the good news. That means that among other things, you can also eliminate tasks that you don't enjoy. So if you did a big project and you were thinking as you're doing it, this is going to be a great resume builder, but you get kind of into it and you think, wow, I'm not enjoying this. This is not fun for me. Then that's a project that you get to keep off your resume. So you get to really choose all of the stuff that goes in there. And I recommend trying to get in there to keep it current about once-ish a year. I know that that's not always going to be something that you keep in mind, something that you remember to do, but it's kind of a good goal to think about. So you might even do it like, I don't know, beginning of January, right? If you get back from a nice long break, you kind of get into the office and everyone's feeling really overwhelmed, that might be a really good time just to hop in and check the resume out, see if it really reflects what you're currently doing, what you want it to say about you, see if it reflects the big tasks you've done this year, all of that kind of good stuff. Now, the tricky part here, of course, is that if you are kind of frequently updating the document, you run the risk of it getting super, super long. So also what I recommend, and a good way to keep your resume a very lively, living document, is start by having a sort of massive everything you've ever done document. That can go back to jobs you had in high school. It can be kind of every single thing that you've done. You can keep a lot of detail in that document, things like the name of your supervisor at each point along that journey. If you want to, you can keep your pay ranges in there, whatever feels right to you to kind of capture on that document. That level of detail is not going to go into the resume that you're submitting places, obviously, but it's sometimes just really nice things that you can do then is keep that document super current. So kind of throw in the names of any projects that you're doing or just some kind of notes for yourself on projects. And then when you do an overhaul of the resume that you will submit, then you can kind of add that information. And it's all on that one giant document that's everything that you've done. Now, here's my pro tip for the giant resume, the everything that you've done resume. Save that in a few different places so that you don't risk losing it because of something like a hard drive crash. So you can save it to the cloud, you can save it to a jump drive, you can save it to a backup hard drive, whatever you want that makes sense. But make sure you do keep that pretty current in a couple of different places. And that's going to keep you from forgetting how you said that really wonderful thing that you said, or losing details about when you had a job, what kinds of things you accomplished in that job, what your progress has been over the course of your lifetime in this career field, etc. So just make sure that you're keeping that in a couple of different places and call it something that you're going to remember. I've called mine, I think, something like Emily Giant CV. It's got everything on there. And then I do the January thing. So beginning of the new year, I kind of go through, look through stuff and decide what I want to pull out of there for submission. And I'm not really obviously using mine to apply for jobs, but I just kind of pull some stuff out that doesn't seem to reflect what I've been doing most recently, and then add the stuff that I really want to be in there, kind of front of mind for everyone. So that's what we really mean when we say that your resume is a living document. And if you ever have a moment in your job where you have some downtime, but you've just completed a pretty big project that you're really proud of, that would be a great time to go ahead and pop that into your resume. The good news is it doesn't have to be kind of finished at that point. Just throw it in there in a way that will remind you when you are updating the document what it was that you did within that project and what made you feel really proud of it. So keep that sucker current and make sure that you keep it at 1 or 2 pages, whichever makes the most sense to you, unless you're in a field like academia, medicine, something like that, where a longer CV is normal. Most of us, we're looking at 1 or 2 pages. And let me know if you have any questions about it. I did put in an accomplishment section in my blog earlier this week, so check that out if you have questions. And have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you here next week.